Well, good morning, everybody. It is the morning after with Nick and Big J. Welcome to the 28th day of January 2025. It is a Tuesday. My name is Nick, and as I live and breathe, look who's back in the studio. Radio's Big J.
Yeah!
Round of applause, everybody. How are you, Big J?
I'm great, man.
Don't lie.
No, I'm great.
All right. The day off yesterday was what you needed to reinvigorate yourself?
I was delirious on Sunday.
What?
I mean...
Because you had to get up like super early to get back? Is that what it was?
Well, it was 2 a.m. Mountain Time.
Okay, that's early.
Our flight left at 8, and they say for the Atlanta airport, you should get there 3 hours early as opposed to 2.
Even with TSA pre-check?
Listen, I don't know. TSA pre-check anymore now is like regular pre-check. It's almost like so bad where
the advantages are gone.
You will know right away. And here's the thing: it's like had no problem. It took me 20 minutes to get to my gate, but
because it's 2:30.
If you see the lines that are arranged, of how they're supposed to go,
sure,
you can tell.
Sure.
It's like, yeah, that makes sense because it would be quite the just the journey trying to get through that.
So you had to wander around for 3 hours before your plane took off?
I didn't wander around, but
you just sat.
It's a very, very large airport, so it was interesting. But yeah, Eastern time kicked my ass, which I figured would be the case. So
anytime time change, we talked about it yesterday. Anytime there's a time change, Big J does not react well to it. Your body nor your mind.
Yeah, my body's a coward. I hate it.
But you're back, and you're back on Mountain Time.
Yeah,
feels good.
Feels great.
Back in Middleton, Idaho.
You betcha.
Holding court. Doing what you need to do to make sure everything rocks and rolls.
Yeah.
That's what we love about you. Welcome back, Big J.
Glad to be here.
Did you have a good trip? Was it awesome?
It was amazing, yeah.
Did you feel the earthquake yesterday?
No, I did not.
I didn't either.
It's got to be 6. What was that one that we did feel here in the office? It was like
a 6.2 or something like that.
Yeah. All coming from the same place, though, which is concerning.
Yeah, there are a couple of earthquakes where it's very rare that there were earthquakes. Like Boston had one yesterday, which never gets them. And then we had one, which is rare at the very best, to put it that way. Is it a sign, Big J?
Yeah.
Have we stumbled upon the end times?
Yeah, it kind of feels that way.
All right, well, hey, listen, it's good to know you, buddy.
You too, man.
Today on the show, Big J will welcome back with open arms and get him into a little bit of a movie. How about that? Streaming Dumbass, we need your help selecting a movie for him. The Funeral Porch is coming to town on Saturday night at Treefort Music Hall. We have your tickets to give away. We also have an opportunity for you to slide into that X session that's happening on noon on Saturday. We're very excited that that's happening as well, so you're going to want to pay attention for that. And Big J is back, which means Pop Culture Smackdown returns. We also have to get you qualified for Free Gas Friday. That is going to happen. We're going to go to hell. We have some headlines and other cool things on the agenda today, so it should be a good show. And if it's all right with you, Big J, we'll welcome you back with some music as well. Is that all right?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Foo Fighters going to kick things off here this morning on The Morning After with Nick and Big J on the X Rocks.
Important stuff. Launch newsfeed. On The Morning After with Nick and Big J.
We hinted at it at the top of the show, but the start of the week was a little bit shaky for some people across the state of Idaho. An earthquake hit the state right around 9:30 yesterday morning. Big J, what were you doing at 9:30 yesterday morning when you went to work?
Let's see, 9:30. I was out running around doing some errands. We were driving. I think we might have been at Costco.
The earthquake was a 4.2 magnitude quake that occurred in the Clayton area near the Chalice National Forest in central Idaho. It had a depth of 11.4 kilometers. According to the USGS, the earthquake was felt all the way here in Boise in some parts, but as previously mentioned, I didn't know it happened. Not to say that it didn't, but I mean, it wasn't enough shaking or anything going on here in the studio that made me go, oh my goodness, an earthquake. But we did get a couple of texts yesterday asking us if we felt the earthquake at that time. I did not, but it was a real thing that happened, and it's happening more and more often around here in Idaho, which is concerning, question mark? I don't know. What can you do, right?
Yeah, I mean, we seem sheltered from a lot of disasters, natural
and otherwise.
Yeah.
And so, but, you know, it's never enough to cause any real serious damage. But over time, that could mess with foundations in areas of which is close to the actual epicenter of the earthquake. So, you know, if you're in and around the, Clayton area, keep an eye on things. Make sure there's no leaks or anything crazy going on there. And hold on to something. Protocol for earthquakes, Big J. What are you supposed to do? It used to be doorway, but I don't think it's that anymore, right?
Yeah, I just run. Get out of the building. Get out.
Just run as fast. I believe that's supposed to be the way to go. Just go someplace where there is nothing that can fall on you. But you remember, like, it used to be like get into like a bathtub
door
or frame, and now that's not the case anymore, which is interesting. But hey, things change as you grow up. Agree or disagree, Big J?
Yeah.
On Sunday, the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs punched their ticket to the Super Bowl. We're setting up a rematch for Super Bowl 57, which was just 2 years ago. And so that led a lot of people to complain online about the matchup and figuring out which team, if any, to root for. Big J, are you now fully in the Kellen Moore camp because you wanted to see you get a Super Bowl ring, so you are rooting for the Philadelphia Eagles in this situation, or are you a Chiefs three-peat kind of guy?
I think so. Yeah, of course. I would be totally happy. I want to see a good game.
You think we'll get one?
Yeah, possibly.
Super Bowl's been pretty good the last couple of years. I mean, from a competitive standpoint. There's been a while since we had a full-on blowout, which is always not fun to watch. But
the majority of the Chiefs' games this year have been close games.
It's true. Even the AFC Championship.
I think that's in the cards. But yeah, I'll be rooting for Kellen for sure. But I'm not going to be broken up about it either. I have no horse in the race, really. It makes it for an enjoyable time. For me, anyway.
And that is enjoyable. You're not displeased with the matchup?
I'm not. Well, what are you going to do? I mean, it's just that's the way the cards fall. I mean, those are the two good. The run game, the offensive line for the Eagles is amazing, and they have just stomped on everybody.
Would you have rather have seen a Buffalo-Washington Super Bowl?
I mean, sure. It's different, at least. Different teams.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, I like the fact that, hey, here's an opportunity for a team to do something that's never been done before. We haven't had that in a long time, so the epic opportunity, I'm sure everybody rooting against that happening is fun. It sucks that, yeah, we've seen these two teams just a couple years ago, but it's the way it happens in Super Bowls. It's been that way for a long time.
Yeah, it's how sports goes. Everything is cyclical, and there's teams that are hot and teams that are not, and the teams that are hot make some runs, and that's where we are in the middle of these two teams. But it is interesting to me how, the narrative for the Chiefs at this particular point is the NFL is rigged for them. The refs do everything to make sure that they get there. But it's funny to me how you rewind 4 years, and that was the exact narrative that everybody had about the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
They cheat. The refs are everything for him. Tom Brady's made of glass. He gets every call, and the NFL is rigged for the Patriots. We just copy and paste one team that happens to be doing really well, and our takes remain the same, and they just gather more and more steam. But again, it's just funny to me how that is. And then a couple years before that, it's the Packers get every call. A couple years before that, it was whatever the team du jour, the 49ers, all this kind of stuff. Everything is rigged for the team that's playing really well and has a lot of success. I find that very interesting. Yeah. But it makes us happy, right, to bitch and complain about these things?
Yeah, I guess.
And so that is why it will continue from now until the end of time. And the NFL won't change anything because, again, them keeping it on top of the narrative, that's
what are they
exactly
going to change? There's,
People want the chips in the ball they use in the preseason to do the measurements instead of the referees eyeballing it. But again, it doesn't change because this is what keeps everybody talking about.
It's so funny. It's like the clear answer is like, hey, that stuff isn't ready to go and work the way it's supposed to. On the other hand, people are like, yeah, that's because it's really going to work. And then they can't use it to cheat. They can't skip it. And I'm like, here's the problem. There's 32 billionaires. So like, when is it our turn?
Right.
Well, you think they're just going to stand by and go, you know what? Yeah, let the Chiefs have it for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
What?
There's that. There's also like, this narrative that if we change all the rules to be more computerized, to take the human element out of the game, it'll make it more fun. But nobody ever goes, hey, look at how baseball's doing right now. You think anybody gives a rat's ass about baseball who has done a lot of that stuff and taken it out because everybody was complaining that the umpires' balls and strikes are ruining the game? Now they've uniformed it much, much more. You've got review systems in play after every single thing. Has it made that more interesting or anybody, or are we still bitching and complaining about that? Right.
Yeah.
So you might as well go with the game that you know and hate it like you hate it every single day. And the NFL is more popular than ever, so why would they ever change, It's the way that it is, and it's the way that they like it, and you're going to shut up and you're going to watch the Super Bowl. That's just the way it's going to go. All that bitching and complaining, you're going to sit down, you're going to sit your ass on the couch and watch the Super Bowl.
No, you're going to sit your ass down in Sturman's, an Eagle.
And watch the big game. Hey, Big J, what's Kevin Costner up to since he got kicked off of Yellowstone or decided not to do Yellowstone and they decided to move on without him? Well,
living his best life?
He's leaning into the Yellowstone brand, and he has put together a 3-episode docuseries called Yellowstone to Yosemite with Kevin Costner. It follows Teddy Roosevelt and John Muir's 1903 expedition through the America West. You know all about that, right?
Yeah.
It's going to premiere February 8th. The series kicks off on Fox Nation's America 2050 campaign to celebrate the country's upcoming 250th anniversary. And Kevin Costner's leaning into it and doing some fun in that particular world. So if you missed him on your TV wearing Western gear and talking about America and Yellowstone, you've got it coming soon to a television near you. Did I tell you that I'm now watching Yellowstone?
No.
I am. I am almost done with season 2 of Yellowstone.
I got made it to another season.
Caught up with it. Yeah, I enjoy it. I think it's a good show. And so I've been told by my friends that I will not think that as much as I get into seasons 4 and perhaps 5. But as of right now, I am enjoying the family dynamic. I was right kind of going in. It's much more Sons of Anarchy than anything else. No drugs involved whatsoever, but it's
just land management.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of bad people doing bad things to each other that are upset about things being built on land or keeping land or wanting land or whatever. And Montana is, you would love it. By the way, Miles City, Montana comes up several times during the course of that show. So I know you couldn't get past that first scene, but
that's not the reason I'm not watching it.
Oh, what is the region?
I see. This is Dallas. I mean, I saw this as a kid. All of these dramas all have the same components. They're all the same.
I never watched Dallas, so I don't know.
It's just the same thing. Instead of oil, it's land. It's just drama based around these things, and it's manufactured families. I mean, it's this stuff I'm not interested in.
Okay, all right.
I realize it's good. It's clear if it's got all the ratings and people enjoy it. It's just something I'm not into.
All right. Listen, we'll talk about it in 5 years when you watch it. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your first round of important stuff. It is the X-Rocks.
Digging deep into the depths of Netflix. It's Streaming Dumbass on the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Big J's back, and tonight he needs to watch a movie. The only catch is Big J cannot choose which movie he watches himself. That decision will be made by you, the X-listeners. All we need you to do is text in which movie you want Big J to watch. You're going to hear the descriptions of 3 movies. You're not going to hear the titles nor the stars, at least not yet. Just the descriptions given to us by the streaming platform on which you can find it. And then based on that description, you have to text in movie number 1, movie number 2, or movie number 3 to 208-287-1003. You can choose the movie you want Big J to watch using your own factors. Maybe you think it sounds interesting and you want to see if Big J might like it. Cool, vote for that movie. Maybe you think it sounds terrible and you want Big J to be tortured by watching what you think is a bad movie. Fine, vote for that movie. But the movie that gets the most votes, that's the one Big J agrees to watch and review for you in a 24-hour period. Agree or disagree, Big J?
I agree to this, sir.
Then let us get started. Movie number 1, Clara is going to die today, unless she kills her husband instead. A serial killer has given her that impossible choice, and when a young man starts his night shift as a dispatcher, Clara's call reaches him. He soon becomes her last hope for survival and races against time to save her. Movie number 2. Whitney signs up for an intense series of classes to help reinvent herself in a small period of time and falls for her personal trainer, as we all do. She finds the strength to embrace her true self and ignore the other's expectations. Okay. And movie number 3. Anthony has been told his entire life he isn't good enough, and it's not possible for him to be the best. But when he defies expectations, can he overcome the very people that told him he would never be where he is? Movie number 1, Kill or Be Killed. Movie number 2, New Year, New Me. Or movie number 3, To Be the Best. These are your 3 choices. Select a movie based on that description and text in movie number 1, movie number 2, or movie number 3 to 208-287-1003. We will tabulate the votes, figure out which one Big J's supposed to watch, and reveal the titles of all 3 movies. That's going to happen next on the X-Rocks. Let's smack and whatever here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. It's time for the exciting conclusion of Streaming Dumbass. Have the votes been tabulated?
Yeah.
Is there a clear and decisive winner?
Yeah, it's harder to get. Actually, almost everyone voted for one particular movie.
Well, we'll see what ends up showing out and what movies came in what place. But I'll tell you right now, Big J, today's Streaming Dumbass has a closer connection to the Morning After than any movie has ever had in the history of the show. We'll see if it's the one that was chosen. What movie came in last place?
Last place, movie number 2, Nick.
That was the comedy of the bunch, Big J. It was called Boot Camp. It stars Rachel Baldwin and Drew Ray Tanner, about a young lady that wants to change her appearance, but then falls in love and, just listen. Comedic things happen, as it does when people fall in love. You know what I mean?
Love romantic comedy.
Romantic comedy for Big J. Well, if you want to watch it, it's called Boot Camp. It's on Amazon. You'll have to watch it on your own time. What movie came in second place?
Movie number 3.
Damn it, that's the one.
Dang, I'm sorry.
That's the one that had the connection. It is a true story about a collegiate wrestler that was born with one leg. His name is Anthony Robles, and he ended up being an NCAA champion, which is something that nobody said was possible. The movie is called Unstoppable. It stars Jennifer Lopez and Jarrell Jerome. Don Cheadle's in it as well. It's on Amazon, but it also, Big J, stars one Shane Sparks. Do you remember Shane Sparks? He of the Big Ten Network. He once guested as one of our guests on an episode of Morning After the Movies because he happened to find himself in town, and he watched Ford v. Ferrari with us at the Cinemark Majestic Theaters. You sat down with him and talked with him for a couple of hours. He is a very popular wrestling play-by-play announcer on the Big Ten Network, plays himself in this movie. Very good friend of mine, went to broadcast school together and personal friends after that.
Yeah.
Very proud of his achievements. He also was one of the stars of that movie. He posted the other day that he was in it. I was like, oh my God, I got to put this on Streaming Dumbass and see if it's selected. But you animals didn't pick it. And so Big J will have to watch Unstoppable on his own time, and you and I both know he's not going to do that.
See, that's how you know the fix isn't in here. I mean, that would make the most sense. Like, dang, okay.
But if you want to watch a close friend of the morning after, Unstoppable is streaming now on Amazon. I have watched it. It's actually a very good movie, and it's very heartwarming and gives you the good feelings. It's just one of the movies where you're like, oh, you know what? People can do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People are the best. But it sounds like you'll be watching movie number 1 about murdering.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, God, you guys love murder. This one is a foreign film, Big J. It is called The Calandar Killer. It stars a couple people I promise you've never heard of, and you probably will never hear from them again. But it is on Amazon, so if you will be watching it there. And if you want to play the home game, ladies and gentlemen of the Treasure Valley, The Calandar Killer is the movie that you want to watch and report back and see if your review matches Big J's. So you'll be enjoying the serial killer movie, The Calandar Killer, Big J. Enjoy tonight, will you please?
And what service is that on?
It's on Amazon Prime.
Amazon.
So Big J will watch this movie and give you a review of it right around this time tomorrow. You guys are on your own if you want to watch it, or wait for Big J's review and see if it's worth your time. Morning After with Nick and Big J. Important stuff on the way, and so as We're Going to Hell, it's the X Rocks.
Man, she a legend.
Important stuff.
What's going on in the news today?
The Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Big J, as a collective unit, we here in America are doing a really, really bad job of taking care of our kids' teeth.
Oh, no. What?
Yeah, we're just not doing enough. And as a result, there's a bunch of kids here in the United States of America that have dental problems that could be avoided because we're just not doing a good enough job of teaching them oral hygiene at home. Big J, you give dental advice out of your car. What do you suggest the kids do?
Go to the dentist. Brush your damn teeth. Floss.
Nailed it, dude.
Floss!
University of Michigan's national poll found that less than 1/4 of kids floss on the regular basis, and only 54% of them brush their teeth twice a day or more. As a result, parents are reporting more issues like tooth decay, cavities, stained teeth, gum concerns. A survey of almost 18,000 parents with at least one child aged 4 to 17 say they have a problem with their kids' teeth because maybe there's not good, consistent oral hygiene practices happening currently in the United States of America. Where is it that was it your parents that taught you your oral hygiene habits that you currently have?
No.
Okay.
In fact, dude, I didn't go. Let's see. I think my mom took me to the dentist once when I was a kid, and poor lady, I made a big stink about it, and I never really went back until I was an adult.
Yeah, see, this is the problem.
And unbelievably, and through that whole time, not one cavity. Very fortunate. I had no problems other than, some janky, teeth that are a little crooked and stuff. But, yeah, so, I mean, my mom had her handful anyways with me, so that was the least of our concerns. But, yeah, it wasn't something that happened until I got insurance and went to the dentist, and that whole thing got me into it, and I go on the regular now.
Yeah, look at you now. But, yeah, certainly nobody enjoys a visit, and that could be maybe part of the problem, is that we don't like having our children experience traumatic, kind of things, and the dentist can be that, but, the alternative is not great.
Yeah.
I mean, Big J is lucky. There's a lot of people out there that aren't. And your kids, if they have teeth problems, is not a good place to be. So we got to up our game a little bit in that particular part of the world. Big J, the Utah Hockey Club. You ever heard of them?
No.
They used to be the Phoenix Coyotes.
Oh.
Now they're the Professional Utah Hockey Club. They might be stuck with that name for another season. The team applied for 6 potential names. That was the Yeti or Yetis, the Blizzard, the Outlaws, the Mammoth, the Venom, and the HC. And the copyrights on all 6 names have been refused by the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office in non-final rulings. That means the team has 3 months to address the various concerns and move forward with the trademark process, meaning they probably have to narrow down that list or find something that isn't quite as already in use as some of those names are. And so maybe the Utah Hockey Club for a bit longer as they figure this whole thing out. But not a good look for... I mean, listen, this is a smash and grab job anyway. You know what I mean? This is an overnight kind of... It's not like the Phoenix team didn't know they were moving, but it was a pretty quick kind of move from Phoenix to Utah, and I don't think all the pieces were in place, and now it's kind of starting to show its head a little bit.
Uh-oh.
So don't know if it's going to be... And listen, now the hockey club was one of the permanent names for the franchise, so maybe they just stick and stay. But I was a fan of the Blizzard or the Yetis. I like those particular names, but I don't know how that will work out going forward. Big J, I know you don't watch The Big Bang Theory, but a ton of people do and still do. It was named the most binge title of 2024 in streaming, with an average of 265 episodes per viewer and a total of 29.1 billion minutes of viewing on Max, making it the 7th overall top streaming title, but the one that was binged the most. Basically, it means if you sit down and watch The Big Bang Theory, you're watching the entire run, because the average episodes are 265. The sitcom ran for 281 episodes. So that's pretty incredible. Big J, American Dad, the runner-up, as the second most bingeable title out there.
Wow.
Third is Family Guy. Fourth is Bob's Burgers. Fifth is The Simpsons. And South Park also performed well. So lots of animation involved in the most
lots
bingeable.
Of adult animation.
That's what we like to do.
Yeah.
It's I am
Because
guilty.
we grew up with it as kids. That's what happened.
I do have American Dad on in the background a lot if I'm just doing stuff and not kind of half paying attention, because I'll always walk by and laugh at something and then go about my business, because I do enjoy that
Roger.
show. Yeah, it's a funny show. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your important stuff. To Florida we go for We're Going to Hell next on the X Rocks.
With Nick and Big J on 100.3 The X Rocks.
Well, we're headed to Florida again for today's We're Going to Hell story, Big J.
Yeah, Florida. Missed you.
And if it's all right, I'd like to introduce you to Kathleen and Maureen Deegan, okay?
The Deegans.
Yes, they are in their 60s, Big J, and they were brought together on Thursday of last week for a solemn occasion. It was the funeral of their 95-year-old father who had just passed away, Big J. And so
sad.
It was sad. They were paying their respects to the patriarch of their family. They had rolled out all the stops. Dad was pretty much well off. And so it was an expensive funeral. And a lot of people came from all over the place to celebrate the life of their father. And it was on, basically they gave it to the eldest sibling, Maureen, to actually give a eulogy at the funeral. And so she did. She got up and she apparently gave a really, really good speech. She is a former management consultant. She is currently retired. She authored several devotional Bible study books. So she was able to knock it out of the park with her eulogy, connecting religion to her father, and brought down the house to St. Brendan's Catholic Church, right?
Yeah.
That is until her older sister, Kathleen, walked up to her and said, hey, couldn't help but notice that in your eulogy you mentioned every single one in the family except for my 24-year-old daughter. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, what's up with that?
Why did you leave my daughter out of the eulogy?
It's like watching the Oscars. Somebody gets left out.
Yeah.
Big mistake.
And she obviously took it personally. That is when Kathleen, according to investigators and witnesses, quote, purposely chest bumped her sister. Well, the other one wasn't going to deal with that very much, and so the one that gave the eulogy grabbed her sister's hair, pulled it backwards. Next thing you know, full-on haymakers at the funeral. We're talking blow after blow, landing using cupped and open hands and closed hands. There's blood, there's teeth, there's hair. It's like a damn, fight that you see in cartoons. Just a cloud of dust and just hands and fists everywhere, and blood. So they had to be broken up by several of the funeral goers. The entire fight was caught on CCTV. Police had to be called, and basically both sisters were arrested for misdemeanor battery and felony battery. And so both of them ended up the night of their father's funeral in jail. They were held overnight. The Deegans then were released from custody on their own recognizance, but the judge has ordered them to not have any contact with each other. And, of course, they have to show up in court to see what this will be. By the way, they both opposing, according to, again, witnesses there, apparently there's also a bit of a battle going on over the $2 million waterfront home owned by their late father's trust that they're also arguing after. So there could be a little bit more than keep my, daughter's name in your mouth during your eulogy argument going on here. Man, death brings out the worst in people. You know what I mean, dude?
Well, not death, but their money.
Yes,
that they have
that's
left
what I
over.
mean. Like fighting over any kind of inheritance or any kind of money. It just is the worst.
Even having a will doesn't seem to solve an issue.
No, you're right. You're absolutely, because anybody who feels entitled or feels like that will was made against the person's thought. I mean, listen, it gets ugly and it gets ugly quick because money brings out the worst in people, dude.
That's another great, or not a great reason, but not bad that I don't have any, like,
a will?
Inheritance money. Kind of money I'm going to have to hand down.
Right.
Nobody's going to be fighting over that.
You don't want anybody throwing
you know
haymakers
what?
at your funeral.
Hey, kids, fight over my debt. Which one of you is going to pay it off? Suck on that. I'm dead.
Is that what you're going to leave in your will? All my medical debt goes to my kids. Good luck, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good scene. Maybe you need to put a small little note in your will not to have any kind of fights, physical or otherwise, at your funeral, because all bets are off. You're not there to break it up anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there could be years and years of animosity there just waiting to bubble out. And emotions are a weird thing. They come out at weird times, even at funerals, in a church.
Yeah. It sounds like what it's called a hootenanny.
Right. I mean, I don't know if you have any regret if there's any kind of self-realization where you realize you're in a church, you got your sister's hair in the hand, and you're just throwing haymakers. If you're like, how did I get here? Morning After with Nick and Big J. We know how you got there. You live in Florida. That's your We're Going to Hell story. It is the X-Rocks. Alice in Chains, Rooster here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Big J, you just got back from a nice little trip across the country.
Yeah.
That means you spent some time in airplanes and airports. Agree or disagree?
Totally.
When you're traveling, Big J, what is your way of procuring sound on whatever it is that you are listening to, watching, or, I guess, enjoying when you're traveling from one part of the country to the other?
What do you mean, like headphones?
Yeah, I mean, are you wearing headphones? Are you wearing earbuds? Are you just listening to your phone? What's the way that you go about doing it?
Well, anybody who's just listening to their phone, stop. Knock that off. This time I took, the wife lent me her solo Beats, so I had some wireless headphones. I hated them because they don't cover my ears.
Oh, you got too
They're
big of
too
ears.
small. I need the bigger ones.
Yeah.
So, but that's how I was rolling. And I'm not like the earbud guy. I mean, they're convenient and they do a lot, but I just don't. I always seem to break them or lose them.
I am also not an earbud guy. I just don't find them comfortable. And so that's one of the big reasons why I can't wear them.
We're also in a weird, like, most of the day we're wearing headphones.
Yes, true.
And so we try not to, like, even when I go home, if I'm playing video games or something, I got headphones on. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm comfortable with the headphones I have right now. I mean, I have 3 pair of them laying around.
Yeah.
Like one's at my desk. I got one at my desk at my home, but these are not wireless.
Right.
And so I don't have a port in my phone, or else I would use those.
And I agree, because these are like an extension of ourselves. This is part of our job, and we have the same headphones. We both love these. We've had these forever.
It's our uniform.
Yes,
dude.
it really, really is. But I have also found a nice pair of over-the-ear headphones that cover it that I really like the sound of.
Oh, where
and
are
so
they?
that's what I use. I'll show you.
Hashtag ad.
I'll show you them. I'll send you the link to the ones I bought, because for the life of me, I can't remember what they're called. They're not like name brand, like Beats or something like that, but they got the job done. They were like $80, and I've had them for like 5 years, and I think they're fantastic. But here's the reason why I brought this up is because 17% of Americans still don't use any kind of hearing thing when they're entertaining themselves. They just blast their phone in airports, and that number seemed high to me. 17% of Americans, because I've traveled a pretty good amount, and sure, sometimes you'll see somebody sitting down waiting for an airline or airplane to show up, and they're watching something with somebody else, and the volume is up. But I can't think of the last time I was on a plane and somebody was watching something with the volume up on their device.
Well, they ask you not to.
I don't remember that either. Maybe it's because I don't listen to the announcements, but I believe you.
Yeah, you're really not supposed to do that because it's inappropriate for some instances. It's hard to hear in an airplane anyways.
Right, because you have to crank it in order to get any real understanding of anything.
Let's get on this tangent for a second. Those announcements you're talking about, they are hard as hell to hear anyways. Like whether it's the pilot talking or whoever, it's like any of those announcements, it's like rah, 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 rah. It's like peanuts, man.
No, I hear you. And which is another reason why the second I'm on the plane, those headphones are on and I'm watching whatever. Because listen, if you got something you need to tell me, I'll notice when the emergency stuff falls down. Then I'll start paying attention. Other than that, I've got my mind on my paper.
Oh, we're crashing. All right.
Yeah, okay. I'll take off my headphones. Start paying attention to what you're saying. Otherwise, I know I'm not taking my seatbelt off. I'm staying put where I need to be until this plane lands. So I'm all right. I got it. No disrespect. I'm just saying it's hard for me to hear them as well. And I'm like, why would I do that?
I'll say this. It's easier to hear the announcements when you're in first class.
All right, high society.
The speakers up there are...
All right. I don't know what that's
Much
like,
nicer.
but I do believe you.
You've been on first
I don't
class.
remember what the speakers sounded like, though. But I also will say that I have gotten like the stink eye when somebody that's giving the announcement that's looking at me that knows I have my headphones on and I'm paying attention, but I not make eye contact and try to move on from things. But this is a reminder, if you are somebody that listens to your device without any headset or earbuds, unless you absolutely have to, really good idea to use those so that you don't annoy those other people around you, because it is a bit much. Agree or disagree, Big J?
Yeah.
Thank you. And you want to have a good time with your fellow traveler. Maybe that's what all the arguments on the plane are about, Big J, that we see on the videos all the time. Somebody just has their device on all the way up, and they can't handle it anymore, so they got to throw hands.
I'm tired of hearing your Yellowstone. Knock it off.
Turn it down. I don't want to hear Kevin Costner say the F word. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There is your streaming device update. Plus, on the way, we got some Pop Culture Smackdown and some important stuff. It's the X-Ra.
Spanning the globe in search of news. Important stuff.
Launch newsfeed.
On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Big J, instead of working on some pickup lines, some men are turning to AI girlfriends, bro.
Uh-oh.
In fact, according to a survey of 20,000 men, apparently 80% of respondents think that AI girlfriends could replace a human partner at any given time, and 81% would consider marrying one.
What?
Now, I don't know how many of these 20,000 men they talk to are currently in a relationship, but that's an insane number. Agree or disagree?
Yeah.
I don't like any part of that at all. It seems crazy to me, but you know what? I don't know anything about anything, so that could be that. But 78% would date an AI clone of their ex. 80% would consider...
Of their ex?
Yeah. 80% would consider chatting with an AI clone of a deceased one.
Ugh.
Some people say they'd even learn about themselves through their AI partners and maybe even think about getting into a relationship with themselves. Hey, is everybody okay?
No.
What are we
No,
talking
they're not.
about
They're not
here?
okay, clearly. You can be in a relationship with yourself already.
Yeah, it sounds like a bunch of people already are. But like, those are some that's crazy high numbers on that particular
Who put that
question.
thing together?
I don't know.
ChatGPT
EVA
or-
put it together. I don't know what EVA is, but They put it together. Seems like it's a lot of really sad people out there, you know?
Yeah.
So there's that too.
Doomed society. Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. We had a good run, but R.I.P. Athletic teams at Vanderbilt University in Nashville may have to stop pulling off some upsets. Otherwise, they won't be able to give any NIL money to any players. They keep getting fined, Big J, for storming the court after pulling off upsets. They were fined $100,000 by the SEC after beating Alabama in October. Then they received another $250,000 fine for storming the court after its basketball team beat Tennessee earlier this month. And then when the team was close to clinching its upset over Kentucky on Saturday, the athletic director had to actually make an announcement to the student section before the game was over going, hey, listen, we don't want to jinx anything, but it'll be $500,000 if you guys storm the court after this particular victory. We can't afford that and keep the players that you guys want to cheer on. You're going to have to make some choices here, people. So that's an interesting predicament.
Did it work?
That's unschooled. Yes, it did work. They behaved themselves. Well, they have to be smart to get it to Vanderbilt.
Did they lose or win?
No, they won.
Okay.
They did upset Kentucky, and everybody was nice. And they didn't do it. But some students did storm the court, so now they're talking about maybe, just maybe, actually getting the fine overturned. But it could cost them $500,000. They better knock it off. But hey, listen, at least they're getting upsets. Agree or disagree?
Sure.
Big J, by now you should know, if you're on social media, Kevin Hart is coming to town, Big J.
I actually didn't.
April 19th, Idaho Central Arena. It's going to happen, and that's going to be a whole lot of fun. But did you know that Kevin Hart's not done making television shows? In fact, BET Plus has ordered the adult animated series Lil Kev about his childhood in North Philadelphia. Hart is set to be an executive producer and voice the lead character. Wanda Sykes is going to play his mom. Deion Cole is going to play his Uncle Richard. And the series will follow 12-year-old Kevin navigating his upbringing with humor, hustle, and heart. The 3 H's that revolve around Kevin Hart, as he's often said. That includes the 2022 reveal of apparently Real Husbands of Hollywood, which was titled More Kevin, More Problems. And he's got a new version of the Comic View stand-up series. It's also coming to BET. So Kevin Hart is dialed in. On top of, what's that show you like that he's in? Die Hard?
I mean,
that's another thing that he's doing, though, right?
Yeah.
So he is very busy. On top of going with the tour, Kevin Hart is everywhere, whether you like it or not. Now, he's in animated form. Big J, will you watch Lil Kev?
Probably not.
Aw. Why not?
Oh.
Because you don't have BET Plus, right?
I don't think that I do, no.
Racist. Morning After with Nick and Big J, you bet. There is your important stuff. We got your Pop Culture Smackdown next on the X Rocks.
Pop Culture Smackdown. On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Yeah, and we've got a nice Morning After prize package here for you. Coming up this Saturday, the Funeral Portrait. It's going to be a Treefort Music Hall. You don't want to miss out on that. We'll hook you up with tickets to that for free. And we'll get you qualified for Free Gas Friday. Walmart, our friends there helping us out. We're going to get you $200 in gas. We'll pick a winner on Friday morning, get you qualified for that. And Nick, I don't know how the first question's going to go for you. It's a tough one.
Great.
I'm going to be honest. But I think it will be very interesting.
Is it okay if we invite the winner to come to the X session on Saturday as well?
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're going to have an X session. The guys in the Funeral Portrait will be here. Yeah, let's bring them in as well.
Okay. So it's a pretty big prize package,
Nice.
and you're probably going to get it if you get one question right. So now is a great opportunity to call in and get in on all this stuff. 208-287-1003 is our phone number if you want to play Pop Culture Smackdown. Good luck to all parties involved. Big J, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Then to the phones we go. Hello, the X.
Hi,
Hi, who's this?
Kim.
All right, Kim, you're up first. Good luck.
Kevin Costner won his Oscars, one for directing and another one for Best Picture for what movie? Was it Dances with Wolves, Field of Dreams, or Horizon, an American Saga?
Dances with Wolves.
100%. Nick, Kevin Costner, as you know, big fan now, watching Yellowstone there. His first Western had him starring alongside the likes of Scott Glenn, Kevin Kline, and Danny Glover. What was that movie called?
First Western he made or first Western he was actually in? Danny Glover was involved in it, huh?
Scott Glenn, Kevin Kline.
I want to say he popped up in Unforgiven, but I'm going to say Unforgiven.
That is not correct. Wrong. Sorry.
What was it?
Silverado.
Never saw it.
You've never seen Silverado?
No, never saw it. Never would have got
Oh,
it.
God, it's a great movie, man.
Congratulations, Kim. You got yourself tickets to go check out The Funeral Portrait on Saturday. You're invited to join us at the X Session on Saturday as well. And guess what? You're also qualified for Free Gas Friday. $200 could be coming your way on Friday. Hang on just one second. We'll get some information from you. Make sure you're all good to go there. There's your Pop Culture Smackdown.
Here's the bad news. That wasn't even the hard question. I pivoted.
Oh, yeah, no, I've never seen it. I'm not as much of a Western fan as you are, so I haven't seen a lot of the Western movies that you hold dear to your heart. That's a pretty big blind spot on my. I mean, I've seen Unforgiven, but like you can count on probably one hand the other
only
Westerns.
modern Western you've seen?
No, I've seen True Grit, the Coen Brothers remake of that, and I've seen a couple other things that I cannot remember off the top. Oh, what's the one? 310 to Yuma?
Yeah,
I've
310 to Yuma,
seen that as
Russell
well.
Crowe. And
So there's some of those that I've kicked around, but not a whole hell of a lot. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your Pop Culture Smackdown. Some headlines are next on the X Rocks.
Yes, you are now a better person for knowing this. It's Headlines on the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Headlines are as follows, sir. Bear attacks can get worse? Teach me. And mistakes were made.
Teach me.
A Florida police officer had to bust a party of underage drinkers. What made it really weird was it was all happening at the elementary school principal's home. Principal Elizabeth Brogdon and a teacher, Carly Anderson, who both work at Roosevelt Elementary School, were both present and arrested at the party on January 19th. Officials say about 100 kids, some as young as 13.
100?
Yes, were drinking alcohol on the property. One child is reported having a, quote, alcohol-related medical event. As the child was being tended to, officers say the principal tried to turn off the lights in the driveway and then run off the property. Both the educators have been charged with child neglect and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Never had teachers like that growing up, Big J.
Yeah, man, that seems like it's one of those wild, crazy teen comedy movies.
Yeah, except for the alcohol-related medical event. We never see those in those. Although that could be as simple as just a kid puking his guts out on the lawn. You know what I mean?
Right.
Doing a real Big J out there because they can't handle their alcohol. When you're 13, you're not supposed to be getting hammered on a regular basis.
Drinking Jaeger.
Is that true?
13,
Yeah, I believe that says it on the label. So try to keep that in mind, everybody. Also, hey, listen, if you're a teacher, don't buy the kids alcohol. That's not what you're paid to teach, right?
Yeah.
Don't want to teach kids how to be functioning alcoholics. Teach them something else that they can use in life that might come in handy down the road. Bear attacks can be worse or mistakes were made.
Mistakes were made.
A couple shared a clip of their gender reveal party, Big J. It's been a while since we had one of these stories. Believe it or not, the party went a little bit wrong. As a woman named Amy Harner and her partner invited friends and family into their home to celebrate a special moment, they decided to do a dry ice reveal. What the big idea was a smoke bomb would create either pink hues for a girl or blue for a boy. The video shows the whole house celebrating as the couple turns out to be a pink smoke bomb. Big J, then they all got smoked out of their house. Everybody was starting to cough really bad. Some of them started to vomit. Everybody had to evacuate the house because the smoke bomb inside was not the smart way to go.
A smoke bomb? What had the dry ice have to do with it?
I don't know. They said it was dry ice, but they think somebody screwed up and gave them the wrong thing. And that's what ended up happening. And so they also, dry ice can be actually bad to inhale on a regular basis too. So that could have been a factor. Maybe it was just too much dry ice in a small indoor spot because the authorities are saying, hey, listen, if you want to do a dry ice gender reveal party, make sure it's outside and not inside because things can get bad. They say while instructions vary depending on the brand, most dry ice bombs recommend outside areas. Indoor ones are not a good idea, and that's what made everybody start to get sick and puke everywhere. So we're 2 for 2 on puking. Let's see what we do on story number 3, that bear attacks can be worse. Big J, you thought maybe getting attacked by a bear would probably be the worst part of the story.
Right.
But a Pennsylvania man was walking down a trail on January 19th. He turned around and he was scratched along the back to see by a gigantic bear. Then the bear started to bite him. That's not great. But he shot the bear. The bear died. 1-0 humans, right?
Yeah. Well, good protection.
Yeah.
Protection.
When he went to the hospital to get his scratches treated and the bites treated, turned out that bear had rabies.
No.
So now, I don't know. We can ask Taylor Momsen about rabies shots. They're not fun. He had to receive a full medical treatment and is going in and getting his rabies shots now. Now, bears and rabies don't really mix that well, but the case certainly seemed to be something that was happening. So the Game Commission is now monitoring the bear situation there in Pennsylvania to see if any other bears may be rabid. But this does explain why the bear just kind of came up and attacked somebody in the back. They don't usually do that either. So
Nature's cocaine.
That's right. Rabid bear, not cocaine bear this time around. But everybody's going to be okay. You just had to go through a bit, what is it, like 30 really, really painful shots when you have rabies? It's some crazy number.
Unless you have a vaccine.
And it's not fun. Morning After with Nick and Big J. There's your headlines. You're officially up to date on everything. It is the X Rocks. That is Pearl Jam. That is Daughter here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Big J returning back after a week plus off where he went to Atlanta, where I understand the players play, but also you were there for an Alzheimer's Association kind of like leadership conference, right?
Yeah. It's called the Leadership Summit, and basically, and I wasn't sure what to expect necessarily. Now, of course, a lot of you might know that for the last few years here, especially, been working real hard with the Alzheimer's Association to raise money and awareness, and we got a good look at what all that money is going towards here, which I'll just lay out a little bit in a minute. But so they asked me if I would like to go and take part in this after the walk this year. And I'm like, absolutely. So I'm now on the executive committee for the walk this year. So I'll be, helping to plan the walk and a lot of the stuff that goes on and all of that behind the scenes. Very looking forward to doing that. But what I wasn't expecting is just how big this was. There was over 1,500 people at this conference, man. It was super overwhelming. So they put you up in this nice hotel, and basically they've got a bunch of sessions. So they have some folks who are, part of the hierarchy, the leadership for the Alzheimer's Association. They bring in other speakers. One of the most powerful parts of this was they bring on some folks who have been, living with early onset Alzheimer's. And it's something that as we get closer, to I think of the cure, along with that is prevention, and also getting in and realizing if we have an Alzheimer's situation. So that is something that I'm trying to, like, the word isn't coming to me right now, but being able to determine if somebody has Alzheimer's, they're getting better at doing that. There's a
early diagnosis.
Early diagnosis. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's a huge deal right now, and there were several speakers that are out there, doctors even, that things just started not to work right. They couldn't formulate words and things, and they're in their 50s and early 60s and finding out that they have mild cognitive impairment and that sort of thing. And those folks up there were powerful speakers, and just that we're in the era now of treatment. So there are a couple treatments that can slow down what's going on, and that was part of the thing that was really amazing to me. All this hard work that we've been doing to raise money, and me asking people to raise money, what does it go for? Of course, all the programs and things that help people who are caregivers and those living with it. But the fact that these research projects have been going on for so long and have really bore a lot of fruit, and the last couple of years, we have had a couple of different options for treatment. And even since those have come out in the last couple of years, they've already refined some of that and reduced a lot of the side effects and things like that are pretty drastic. It's very expensive right now.
Yeah.
They're really close to being able to move that from an infusion kind of thing to an injectable, which will bring down the cost of that a lot. And they're seeing that some of the amyloid buildup that comes in the plaque that's in your mind, that's what causes the dementia and Alzheimer's, that there's opportunities to erase that. So very hopeful. But at the same time, now is the time to really go forth and do as much as we can to continue to raise that money. And so learning a lot about that, and just how to present your story to people, and get people to talk about it and join in the struggle for that. So it was a really eye-opening thing, and seeing these people who are living with it, and others who are caregivers, it was just really inspirational.
It sounds like it, and probably reignited some, passion and anger to fight this disease, I imagine, too.
Absolutely, because the key word there is time. And, this the treatments that are right now, they're not going to cure it, but they're going to give you more time with your loved one. It's something I didn't have the opportunity for with my mom or my aunt. And but there, again, early diagnosis is critical and important. And if you feel like maybe something's off, talk to your primary care physician. There are some blood tests that can be done and just some easy cognitive tests that you can take that give you an opportunity to see. It's scary. Let's not even mess around with it. That's a scary thing to sit down and try to do because, what happens if you have some of that? It's a scary thing. But the earlier you detect it, the better chance you have to slow that machine from taking over. And that's the bottom line there. But you'll be hearing more from me about how you can help out, whether it be volunteering or, giving out money.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you were there for how many days and nights?
4 days.
Nice.
I think for the actual conference, and it was a lot of fun, a lot of purple. I realize I don't wear enough purple now, so I got to be throwing down some more stuff. And it's cool too because they have like a little shop where they have all the this year's Alzheimer's stuff, whether it be the swag or whatever. So you can buy some of that. So I got some of that for the family. And just a lot of different kind of workshops to learn how to do things, and very excited.
Nice. Did you take in any Atlanta nightlife when you weren't at the conference?
No.
Living it up, having a good time? The wife and the kids?
Nope. There was no time for getting down in the middle of hot Atlanta, let me tell you.
All right.
I did get to see the aquarium. No, I got to see the aquarium.
All right.
The Georgia Aquarium. I think it's the biggest aquarium. Amazing.
Yeah?
It was incredible.
Nice. Very cool. Well, happy that you're back, buddy. Happy that you learned a lot, and I am looking forward to seeing some of the things you're able to do with that as you look forward to 2025 for sure.
All right.
Morning After with Nick and Big J. How about we give away some prizes, some bad impressions? They're next on the X Rock.
Bad impressions.
So far, I'm not impressed.
On the Morning After with Nick and Big J.
Yeah, bad impressions. We got a nice little Morning After prize package here for you. Tickets to Russian Circles happening at the Knitting Factory on March 17th. We'll set you up with those tickets, and you'll be qualified for Free Gas Friday, baby. $200 in gas coming your way. Thanks to our friends at Walmart and the X-Rocks. We'll hook that up. You just need to figure out bad impressions here this morning.
208-287-1003 if you'd like to play the game. Bad Impressions works like this. Big J will give you 3 clues about somebody that is pretty famous. If you can figure out who that famous person is in 3 clues or less, it is you that is collecting this prize. The concert tickets, to be sure, but then to get in the running for $200 on top of it and free gas, Big J?
Nice.
There's some sort of miracle going on right here. To the phones we go. Hello, the X.
What's going on?
How you doing, man? What's your name?
It's Dustin.
All right, Dustin, you're up first. Good luck.
Dustin, it's a brand, okay? Not a person?
Ow.
Got it.
You okay over
Yeah,
there?
I'm fine.
All right, here we go. Our home base is in Atlanta, where Big J just was. Not bad for maybe the biggest brand on the globe.
Next one.
Once upon a time, we tried to change our recipe. Can you believe we used the word new in the title?
Next one.
Yes, originally cocaine was one of the ingredients in our cola.
So good.
Coke.
Coke is right.
Good job, man. Hang on 1 second. We will hook you up with the Russian Circles tickets for the Knitting Factory on St. Patrick's Day, as well as you getting qualified for Free Gas Friday. Big J, why is Coca-Cola in the news?
Good news. They're putting cocaine back in it.
Finally.
Yeah.
Let's
No,
get ripped.
It's not. They are releasing a new flavor, though. It might trigger some nostalgia here. Orange cream, Nick.
Really?
Yeah, it's a new variety that will be available in regular and zero sugar. Scheduled to go on sale February 10th. So it combines vanilla and orange flavors. It was created in response to consumer demand.
I'll tell you what, one of the flavors that I'm a sucker for is orange cream flavored stuff, like creamsicle flavored something.
Yeah.
I'll give anything a shot that tastes like that. Yeah. I might have to actually seek this out.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about orange soda that is just kind of tasty.
Yeah, but it's still Coke, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. It has to be.
Yeah, I mean, orange cream Coca-Cola. It's probably something you can find in those crazy vending machine things that you hate.
I do hate them. Yeah, they don't make the sodas taste
Yeah.
good. But I will wonder how this will turn out. February 10th?
February 10th,
Right.
man.
I'm going to go on a search for it, and I'll tell
You
you.
should bring some in here, Coke. Let's go.
You want to do it? Oh, yeah. Shout out to Coke. Bring us your stuff. Let us taste it
Yeah,
for free.
I mean,
why are we spending our money on it?
We're only the #1 morning show. I mean, God. You gonna beg for stuff?
When does that cash in? Let's go, Coke.
No.
Morning After
I should have
with
talked to him while I was there.
Nick and Big J. We will wrap up the show here next on the X Rocks. You ever been to Tombstone Town, Big J?
Yeah, I have.
They make pizza there. That is brand new Dorothy and Slash together Tombstone Town here on the Morning After with Nick and Big J. Wrapping up the show on this Tuesday and marking the return of Radio's Big J. Thank you for coming back, sir, and coming back on the show. It is nice to have you back in the warm confines of the studio. Hopefully it's good for you to be back as well.
Yeah, man, I'm totally excited. I'm pumped. I feel alert and well rested.
Love it. We also had a chance to give away some funeral portrait tickets. That will continue tomorrow. Also qualified people for Free Gas Friday. That also will continue. Big J will have to watch a movie called The Calandar Killer tonight on Amazon Prime. Report back to you tomorrow. And we also gave you some advice not to get into a full knockdown, drag-out fight with your elderly sister at your dad's funeral. It's just not a good look, guys. Florida or not a good look. And that leaves you with the floor, Big J.
It is International Lego Day, Nick.
Hey, happy Lego Day, Big J. Last Lego package you built.
No, I don't have to do that anymore. I could buy them and just give them to my kid, Mason. She loves to put together Legos.
That's a cop-out. Did you ever get that Mandalorian one put together?
Yeah, it's
nice.
up in the Hall of Legos on top of our...
Very nice.
bump out.
I spent Christmas, the day after Christmas, putting together I want to say 3,000-piece Lego airplane that I bought Jackson. Ooh. It was a goddamn nightmare. I mean, like, all these pieces are so teeny tiny now. Like, I just feel like my big sausage fingers aren't helping out in any way, shape, or form. But we got it together.
Yeah.
We got it together somehow, some way. But it did embarrassingly take us 2 days to do it. It probably shouldn't, but
it's
it
not
did.
easy. And you probably lost a bunch of pieces along the way.
No. We nailed it. But it was more difficult to, like, I remember Legos when you were a kid just being like, here, build something. Yeah. And now it's like every part has a place and there's 19 little things to put it together. But hey, if you're into that kind of thing, enjoy it. And oh, by the way, they're not cheap either.
Yeah. Can you imagine the kind of moron who puts together huge ones, like 30,000 people, like Millennium Falcons?
Dude, that guy has to have no life whatsoever, for sure. And could you imagine moving it? What a nightmare. Yeah. Morning After with Nick and Big J. We're doing the show for one person now. We are out of here. Jason Drew's coming in next. Have a good one. It's the X Rocks.
Hey, Joel.